sequence preset, go to the New Sequence panel, which is File, New, Sequence, or click on the new item icon at the bottom of the project panel. Once the New Sequence panel opens up, you will see that there are 3 different tabs. The first one is the one we saw in the last section. The one that interests us now is the second one, which is the Settings tab. From here, you can choose your editing mode, and depending on the choice, you will be able to change some things here down below. Let's start by choosing AVC Intra 50 1080p. You can see the options that we can change, and the ones that we cannot change are grayed out. We cannot change the frame size, and we can change the pixel aspect ratio only from 1.333 to unknown par, or pixel aspect ratio. No fields, and we cannot change that, and so forth. It is the same with other editing modes that we may select. Depending on what we pick, we can change some things and not others. If we would like to have access to everything, then we can choose the custom editing mode. Now everything is available. This is just for the sequence and the previews. You will specify output settings when you export. Let's go through these settings. Time base. As a rule, choose 24 for film, 25 for PAL, and 2997 for NTSC. The frame rate of the video you play back or export from sequences is not the same as its time base. However, time base and frame rate are almost always set to the same value. Frame size. In pixels, how wide and tall your video is. Pixel aspect ratio sets the aspect ratio for individual pixels. Fields specifies the field order or which field of each frame is drawn first. If you work with progressive scan video, select No Fields, which is progressive scan. For DV, it would be lower field first, and for HDV, it would be upper field first. Display format video. You can display timecode or just frames. Changing this will not change the frame rate of clips or sequences. It only changes how the time display looks. When working with NTSC video assets, use 30 frames per second drop frame timecode. The next section is audio. Sample rate. Generally, higher rates provide better audio. Display format indicates the audio time display to be measured using either audio samples or milliseconds. Video preview settings. This setting determines the file format, codec, and color depth that Premiere Pro will use for preview files and playback of clips. Preview file format. You can choose a file format that will give you the best quality previews while keeping rendering time fast and file size small, depending on your system. Codec specifies the codec used for the preview files. However, you should note that if you use a clip without applying effects or changing frame or time, Premiere Pro uses the original codec of the clip for the playback. Width and height specifies the frame width and height of your video previews. Reset deletes existing previews. Maximum bit depth maximizes the color bit depth up to 32 bits per channel to include in video playback and sequences. If you're working for something for desktop or web delivery, you could choose 8 bits, which will give you just 256 colors. You could choose maximum bit depth if you want to keep all of the color information from HD footage or Photoshop files. Again, this affects the previews only. Maximum render quality will give you the highest quality when rendering clips and sequences. This is the setting to use if you want to render moving assets at the best quality. Obviously, the higher the quality, the more system resources you will need and the more RAM you will use to create the previews. This will compress your file more, so some footage will look worse because of the sharpening. Once we're done changing these settings to whatever we wish, we should save them, even if we want to use them in just one project. This is because a backup copy will be created and you can access it in case of an unexpected shutdown. In here, you can give your preset a name and a description. To use the preset, choose it from the Presets tab, and you got it. In the next section, we will cover the Tracks tab of the new Sequence panel. See you then.